Good afternoon. I'd like to welcome Will Zalatoris to the interview room. Will shot a fine first round 70 and then an exceptional 4-under par 68 today to finish at 6 under after 36 holes. Currently in second place, had 31 on the back nine with 5 birdies on that second nine. Really an exceptional performance on your first start here at the Masters, Will. Let me open it up to questions.
What was the most satisfying iron shot you hit today?
Has to be 18, knowing that it would get me into the final group. I think that's something that, it's a childhood dream to obviously be in the final group of a major on a weekend, and especially here. I think definitely that one for sure.
What was the club?
50 degree.
Doug.
Well, in your last, I guess, I don't know how many months ago, but you've had some nice moments and some big moments, Winged Foot, what have you. Does this feel extra special to you? Does it feel like another start? And how do you kind of put into context what you did today and for 2 rounds?
Yeah, I came here in 2005. I came on Friday, watched Tiger make a 40-footer on the 6th hole, and that was the only shot I saw him hit until I turned professional. So I think the fact that it's here obviously makes it a little more special. But, every single hole I could think of some person who did something on every single hole. And I think that's something that, especially in the practice rounds, obviously during the tournament, I'm a little more focused, but just thinking back to the history is something that I really try to take in Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Michael.
Right along those same lines, is there a moment that's crystallized in your mind when you were a kid, when you were maybe watching the Masters on TV and you thought, oh, I'd like to be there someday?
Yeah, I think it has to be actually 05. I was sitting at our favorite Italian restaurant and I was living in the Bay Area. And I remember Tiger with the chip on 16. And normally the restaurant was pretty quiet. And when that ball dropped, it got pretty loud. And it was just cool to think back on, that was probably the memory that I knew, earliest memory that I have of really realizing, how special the Masters is. And I've been fortunate enough to grow up with Lanny Watkins' kids, and Lanny's been a really great sounding board throughout my entire career. And there's little things that he may not even remember telling me how the wind affects the shot, if it's into the wind, downwind on 12. But I think he told that to me when I was 14, but I still remember it. And there's little things like that throughout, I can't think of that in any other event.
Can you recall the name of the restaurant?
Yeah, Vivace. Vivace.
Friendly.
Well, you've already heard a lot this week that first-timers just don't win this event. It's only happened a few times or a couple times. I'm curious to know, is there anything, if you look back on your entire golf career, is there any one thing that someone told you couldn't do and you went and did it?
More personally than anybody else. The ups and downs, obviously, throughout anybody's career. I struggled in college for about 1.5 years and, didn't even really know if I wanted to give professional golf a shot. And I stuck with it and had a great summer that year and ended up almost making the World Am team. And I think that's the fact that, everyone has their ups and downs, but the fact that it's led me to here, I think, is something that I take a lot of gratitude in for that perseverance.
What would you have done if you didn't play professional golf?
I have no idea. I wanted to do this my entire life. But I know even right now, I'm just kind of thinking that obviously sitting in here, there's a lot of gratitude, the fact that I'm here.
Gene.
Well, you're on the same leaderboard as Jordan Spieth. How would you describe your relationship with him, and what would the story be he would tell about you?
Yeah, I've known Jordan, I guess, since I was about 10 years old playing NTPGA junior events. He's always been a world beater at such a young age. The story that I always tell was we were 14 playing my home club in Dallas at Bent Tree, and he made a crazy up and down on the first hole to save par, basically from another fairway, and he went out and birdied 6 out of the next 8 to shoot 29 on the front, and he broke the course record that had been there for 20-plus years. And that was at 14. And, you know, I've seen him do just some of the most miraculous things playing little games at home, but, you know, playing against him, he's always set the bar for, especially in Texas, in terms of, you know, whatever that bar is at whatever level. And so I think, you know, guys like Scotty Scheffler and myself really owe him a lot for, you know, setting that bar. You know, he wins the U.S. Juniors. Scotty and I both win U.S. Juniors. So he's always pushed us. And, you know, I think, you know, the story that he'd tell about me, I think if anything is, you know, we'd probably make a great Ryder Cup pairing because I'm a really good ball striker and he's probably the best chipper and putter in the last 30 years. So, you know, he's, like I said, he's been a great friend and really a great role model.
Jeffrey?
Well, as a young guy at his first Masters, is there anything about this event that's intimidating at all to you?
Yeah, I mean, it can be, but, you know, like I said, I've wanted to be here my entire life. And, you know, some people shy away from that, but, you know, I'm excited to be here. You know, I've wanted to be here forever. So there's no reason to feel intimidated now. I mean, I've made it to here. And, you know, obviously, you know, job's not done by any means, but, you know, I think, you know, standing on the first tee and, you know, hearing your name called, that's something that every kid dreams of. And, you know, this first tee shot was, you know, of course I was pretty nervous, but it's still, you know, like I said, there's the fact that I've wanted to be here my entire life actually almost frees me up.
You mentioned your ball striking. When everything's clicking in your game, do you see that as your biggest strength?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think, you know, that's where, you know, especially 16, 17, and 18, hitting it in the right spots and giving myself fairly easy looks. I mean, even, you know, the putt I had on 17, you know, it's still a foot and a half of break. But I put myself in the right spot. And I think that was really the biggest difference today. And, you know, I think I one putted every single hole in the back 9 today, but it's just because I put myself in the right spots.
William?
Will, could you elaborate on what Lanny told you about the 12th when you were 14 years old?
Yeah, like I said, I don't even know if he remembers this or not, but he's just said that whenever it's into the wind, when you get that kind of southwest, southeast wind, it just doesn't really affect the ball as much. And when it's downwind, that's where guys tend to struggle. You know, today it was in out of the left, and I think that it was 153, and I'm never going to look more than middle left of that front bunker as my target. And I mean, I hit a shot, I think I hit it it probably would have been 152 and it carried 150 and it was a good 10 miles an hour back into us. You know, like I said, I don't know if he even remembers that, but just of course me being, you know, a student of the game, I've known that for 10 years.
Doug?
Two things. Will, when you made the turn at 1 over for your round, what were you hoping to get out of the back? What were you thinking?
Yeah, I knew I was playing good golf. I had two pretty good looks on 3 and 8 that I let get away from me. I knew it was in there somewhere, but, you know, when I made the par putt on 10, that was kind of a big momentum boost, and making a couple 30-footers on 11 and 12, that's just a big bonus. Great putts that just happened to go in. You know, obviously when guys typically go low on the back, they tend to take advantage of the par 5s, and the fact that I parred both of them, it gives me confidence that, you know, like I said, I knew I was close, and then to birdie 5 holes that weren't the par 5s on the back, you know, that really is a big confidence booster for tomorrow.
And then secondly, to have no status 17 months ago to be playing in the final group on Saturday the Masters, fairly unusual. What would you consider 2 or 3 turning points from then to now?
Yeah, I think the first turning point was when I Monday qualified for the Panama Championship. It's a 90, excuse me, it's 90 players for 2 spots, so you've got to go out and earn it. A month and a half prior, I was sitting down with my coaches talking about playing mini tour events because I had missed out on first stage of Korn Ferry Q School. And I made it there, and the fact that I made that qualifier, I knew that good golf was coming, and I progressively kept Monday qualifying and parlayed a couple of top 25s into special temporary status. And then when I got to the Korn Ferry Tour Finals, I missed the first 2 cuts on the number and then had a really good finish. I think I birdied like 5 out of my last 6 in the Korn Ferry Tour Finals. But had I made one of those weekends, I could have just had an average weekend. I would have gotten my card that way. So the fact that I was going to have to spend the next 3 months at home thinking that literally one shot could have been the difference in me getting my card and not, it really motivated me. And then I had a couple months, we had a couple tournaments, and then COVID hit. And so I had 4 months of basically, fortunately, I was able to still play. We couldn't practice, but just carry my bag and go play against guys day in, day out. And Tony Romo's a great friend, and he's been a great sounding board. He's basically been a big brother to me. But I think that 4 months was really the biggest turning point, where I was playing some exceptional golf at home, and I knew that when I was going to come out, I was fresh. And so that's where, when I came out firing, I was in the final group, I think 3 out of the next 4 tournaments, and I ended up winning one of them. And I think that was kind of the second turning point, if you will, where things really kicked into gear. And it just, like I said, I'm lucky to be here because, without, I wouldn't have tried to qualify for the Open because I was so focused on the Korn Ferry Tour, where week in, week out, you miss 1 week and it could be the difference of you not getting your card and getting your card. And we end up, the US Open gets pushed back. I end up getting a spot from top 10 in Korn Ferry and then finish 6th there, have another top 10, and then turn that into special temporary status. So that's why I kind of have that attitude of gratitude. I know as cheesy as that sounds, but without COVID, I may not be here. I mean, maybe I would have earned it, but still, it's a very wild 1.5 years to look back on, to think, I could have had my card 2 years ago. Well, now I've got 2 years of Korn Ferry, and then I end up getting my card a different way.
Maybe just one more question. Michael?
Thank you. What did you pick up from Bernhard today, if anything, or over the last 2 days?
Just to see him missing spots. Obviously I've got a massive advantage in length against just regular players, let alone him. And to see him missing the correct spots, even, on some holes where, I'm hitting pitching wedge into 17, I think he's hitting a hybrid in, and he's missing it short right because he knows that that's the correct spot to miss. And I think that's something, he was a tactician. It was incredible to watch over the last 2 days. And we shared a lot of laughs, and obviously, a guy who obviously being a champion here and even at his age, still winning on the Champions Tour and week in, week out contending. It's amazing to watch.
Well, Will, congratulations and wishing you all the best this weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you.